Turn it all the way down, Brian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the Penobscot County Commissioners meeting of December the 17th, 2025. I'm Andre Cushing. I serve as chair. At this point, I will call the roll. Commissioner Tremble.
Here.
Commissioner Marshall.
Here.
The treasurer is unable to be with us this morning. The chair is here. At this point, I would ask if Commissioner Marshall would be kind enough to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I would be honored. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, at this point on our agenda, the next item would be approval of minutes, and I would ask us to table this till the next meeting. There are some adjustments that we need to make to the language related to one of the items there.
I move we table the approval until the next meeting.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Do we have anyone currently in the audience that would like to make public comments on items not on the agenda? We allow up to 3 minutes for that purpose. Seeing none, is there again anyone online that has notified you that they would like to make public comment?
No.
At this point, I'll make one last call online if you would notify us if you do. Seeing no notification, we will move on from public comments and ask Director McDonald if you'd be kind enough to come forward. Project discussions. Excuse me.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hope I don't get sick.
Well, too late for me. Try not to spread. I did test and I'm not positive, so that's
Are you positive you're not
I'm
positive?
positive.
So the last time we met, you gave me some order, some direction to shut everything down. We're not doing anything in the DA space until the first quarter of next year. Both contractors that are work, the HVAC work in this building and the work on Franklin Street, I'm told that we won't see another invoice until mid to late January. So my question is, and I don't mean to make light of this, but it's, the horse is out of the barn. Do we really want to close the gate now? I'll do whatever you want. And I do have a meeting on Franklin Street tomorrow, and they are aware of a possible shutdown. I don't know how or when we would start the work again if we shut them down until first quarter.
So in regards to what we have, Brenda, do you have a moment to come up in case we have a couple questions for you?
Well, Brenda's coming in, and I understand where we're at with this project, but I also understand where we are with our county's finances. And not knowing when this TAN is gonna happen in 2026, I would very much, unless we get some different information that comes in, I would very much think it'd be in the county's best interest to suspend the work that's going on there. I mean, work with a contractor, I think, unless they want to do it and not get paid for 6 months, but I don't think that's what they want to do. I think it's in the county's best. We've got to do, our first responsibility is fiduciary responsibility of the county. We've got to do what's fiscally prudent, and I don't think to continue to get $500,000, $1 million invoices for Franklin Street when we don't have the money in the account to pay it doesn't make sense to me. So I think unless we've got other information, we need to suspend the work.
I understand. I don't foresee that we'd be seeing $1 million invoice for Franklin.
I thought I heard about $500,000.
Right, we have invoices right now totaling $680,000. We won't see anything, so on Franklin, the invoice is $60,000 and change. The big one is $580,000, that's for this building, that's all the equipment that was purchased. We won't, this building here, that leaves 1.2 million, but that's all labor. And that would,
I think they might have to wait to do that.
that would come, so the biggest one-time invoice has already arrived, and that's dated, I believe, November 30th.
We paid that?
We have not yet, but.
So, and Mechanical Services is aware that that payment might be late, and speaking truthfully, that puts them in a bind, because they owe that money to their suppliers. If we're late to them, and I understand our financial position, if we're late to them, they're late.
You're the only one. You do.
But you see what I'm saying? We have a good relationship with them, and they have a good relationship with their suppliers. Our issues are going to cause issues with them and their suppliers.
Understood.
Like I said, it is on our list of things to talk about tomorrow with Benchmark, the people doing the work on Franklin Street. And maybe Commissioner Tremble just mentioned, if they're okay not getting paid for 6 months. Is it okay if I give them that option? Say, hey, listen, if you want to finish the project, but we might not pay you until March or April. I'm afraid if we shut down, if they get other work, then we could be down there this time again next year trying to finish this project.
Understood.
And the cost will change because, supplies, a project like Franklin Street, they're buying supplies a week or two in advance.
Yeah.
This time, 6 months, 8, 9 months, that I think they would want to reprice that. the
It has to be done in
remaining.
2026, right? That's an ARPA project, right? It has to be done in 2026.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I was gonna
I guess
say,
that-
we have the ARPA funds to pay that. We have somewhere around, $3 million.
Right, it was
To
my
use kind
understanding
of
until the
between-
TAN was available, we were gonna maybe have to borrow the ARPA funds
We're
again
gonna,
in
oh, we
2026.
definitely will, and then we may even have to dip into like the UT2.
Right.
I spoke with
So
George
that's my
about that.
concern.
So, I mean, there's funds there, let's take
Right.
some finagling. If we could put them off till,
There's two aspects as I understand it. One is rounding out 2025.
right,
And you're in a position at this point to make the repayments necessary on the loans from the ARPA account?
yes, I may have to dip into the TIP, just so we don't go
Again, a loan.
alone from the TIP account, just so we don't get overdrawn
I understand.
December 31st. And then we can go back and borrow ARPA again. It's just gonna be, we can't spend ARPA twice, right?
No, we can't. We have to,
But the 580 or the 600,000, because there's another invoice with them too, right, the 45.
There are three invoices, there's 580,000 and 45,000 from mechanical services. The 580,000 is this building, the 45 is the HVAC work on Franklin Street. And then there is the benchmark invoice for 60,000 and change for Franklin Street.
so I guess in terms of the cash flow question, would you be able to satisfy the loan repayment to the ARPA by the end of '25?
Yes,
Would you at the same time be in a position to reflect payments on either of those smaller invoices during '25? Or do you,
I think so, but they would, the way I look at it, the invoices were dated 11/30, you have 30 days. So we could easily push that into early January and not be, not be putting a hardship on the vendor.
Okay.
And I think we can do that. We got the extra jail money this week, so that will help. Beyond that, and then not knowing the timing on the TAN, beyond that, it gets a little more sketchy.
so would one option that you could convey to mechanical is we would be in a position to make a partial payment on that invoice, a larger invoice, to help reduce that until we have more surety. And by that, I mean first part of January, when you're in a position to appropriately renew the loan on the ARPA loan.
Yeah, and then when we have a better feeling of when we might be able to close on a TAN.
And some of those expenses ultimately will be ARPA fund transfers that were.
They are ARPA funds, yeah,
Okay.
anyway, so, yeah, so that makes,
We would not have to necessarily borrow, we would be drawing on the ARPA funds.
we would just draw right out of ARPA,
Okay.
yeah.
So, based upon what is available for ARPA, as I understand it, we have appropriate money to satisfy the current expenses we've incurred for the HVAC here. The repairs to date on the project on Franklin Street. And then going forward, we would be drawing on ARPA funds that are allocated to that project on Franklin Street.
I believe so, is that right? That's all ARPA, right?
ARPA, that account had enough money in when we went out to bid. It doesn't now. The total project, there've been a couple of change orders because of unknown conditions in Franklin Street. That will be just a little bit north of 500,000. That last check, I think that opera account only had 160,000 in it. The remaining money, some of it was gonna come from the opera jail account. But there was 200,000 or so that was supposed to come out of that 1.1 million in escrow.
The reserves for building.
The building capital account, yes. And so that, as far as my understanding at this point, that is the unknown.
That's not a $500,000 increase.
No, the original bid price was 470,000 and change, and we have, and there's going to be some more. We just found some things down there this week. The total will be probably in the $520,000 range for benchmark.
Was there a contingency in that total price for just this purpose?
Well, I don't think so. Like I said, the money was there prior, when we went out to RFP. Some of it has since been spent in other places.
That's fine.
So the contingency basically was that 1.1, the building escrow account in Department 32.
So for the project, we had in essence allocated a certain amount of the ARPA funds for capital improvements or repairs. And that account is now down to 160,000.
I believe that's the last number I saw,
Does that include the $60,000 invoice that Benchmark just sent?
It does not. That 60 has not been drawn from that account.
Okay. So then, if we allocate the 60, then that account would only have 100,000 remaining that was allocated for that project.
Possibly, I believe in the last week or two, I've also included a Haley Ward invoice. I believe that all of the different sites that Haley Ward has been looking at for us has been coming out of that account as well. And there may have been an invoice in the $30,000 range, so that account could be down to in the 120s, 130s by now.
Okay.
It's been a week or two since Brenda and I talked about it.
So you really have allocated money that you're comfortable with of under $100,000 right now if we take that 60 invoice out of it.
I would defer to Brenda. I don't know if I would say comfortable, but
Just,
I-
we talk about what the 100 left in the account, and it's not the account on paper, but the account, if you go to the bank and say you have 100,000, it's not in that account, right? It's been moved out to.
The ARPA funds are there, but the ARPA is the.
It's a
Right, but it's not segregated, is
Yes,
it?
it is.
Yes.
I thought we had borrowed all of that.
No, ARPA is solid.
Okay.
It's these escrow accounts that aren't.
But we still need to build those.
Yeah.
It's like the building account for the county, $1 million
Correct.
does not exist in that account. Okay.
The
Our
balance
ARPA
sheet
funds are
reflects what was there, but it had been drawn.
Right.
So I guess where I was going in the understanding is we have the money to pay this 60,000 to Benchmark because it's ARPA money. Yeah, you're doing the right thing looking at it, okay?
I mean, the other kind of wild card here is the 5 million or so that's been awarded to outside
Understood.
agencies that is still sitting in the bank. That's literally 5.6 million in the bank,
Mhm.
but we don't know, I mean, For example, the PCHC award, they have drawn hardly nothing out of 2.5 million. So I don't know if tomorrow they're gonna come in and say, I need,
Well, the understanding is the projects are like a construction draw. So as they have invoicing to justify it, then they can put in a request for a draw. So we're not writing a blank bulk check
yeah, right.
to any one of them, but we are.
So there could be, you know, a month or two there that we have those funds to work with as well. So it's,
Well, on that point about the ARPA, how much is left, who's getting what, well, the administrators here, can we get a report from the ARPA administrator about the likelihood of everybody that's due fund getting those, qualifying for those funds? And they were going into 26, they need to be expended in 2026. There's still a lot of money on the books. I think we need it up to date.
There was a request placed with her
Yeah,
some
a while
time ago
ago.
to have a year-end
No,
report.
that's
So
what I'd like.
I think if you could request that she joins us on the 23rd, so she could be here to answer some of these questions, it would be appreciated. And I don't know, Brenda, I think you're tracking some of those accounts now.
yeah, they're all in our general ledger.
Understood. And thank you for that.
Thanks.
I think what we're looking for is a little more clarity as we move.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, going forward would be nice to have a little bit more clarity on, because it's over $5 million. It's,
So based upon the knowledge that there is segregated funds for at least another $60,000 over the current invoice, are the commissioners comfortable approving at least the short-term continuation of the Franklin Street work?
Oh, I thought the 60 was to pay the bills we have.
It's a 60,000, right?
We've got 130 to 140 that he believes is available still in those.
It's just under 61, 60,966 and change.
So we have that money currently in the account to pay that outstanding invoice.
we do, yeah.
And then beyond that, could another invoice of that size be sustained with what is remaining in the ARPA designated funds?
Yes. I'll say yes.
And they have told me we won't see their second invoice until the end of January. So if we followed the same 30 days, you could technically pay that in
How
March.
much is that going to be in the second one? We talk 50,000, 200,000, or?
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, they're a different, I don't expect it to be significantly different than this. They're, so demolition, so on the second page of the invoice, it lists out all the different tasks. And some of the work is in the early percentages, other tasks are complete.
So the total project estimate is 409,000.
After this 61 is paid. This is remaining after this gets paid.
So
What, I'm sorry, what, 490 is left?
490 is the total.
409 is
409 is
left.
left after this.
Yeah.
What was it again?
And what's left on the ARPA account for that project?
I would say around 100,000.
Okay, well, I would say we can't do it then. We don't have 300,000.
But that 1.1 million's gone, so, I mean, we can't. If we stop completely, I think we're gonna get a bill from them for, I mean, it's not their fault that we painted ourselves into this corner.
How about this process, if you were to convey to them that we have on hand right now until financing is secured, the ability to pay up to $60,000 more for work?
If we paid this, we'd be current.
I understand that, but I'm saying to convey to them that if they can work on the premise that their next bill should not exceed the revenue.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Then we could continue that work so that they're not caught with a stoppage in the middle of a project and having to scramble to get their people work.
Well, there's that misunderstanding, it sounds like there's delta, 300,000, that's not covered by ARPA. Is that right? We don't have the budget next year. We haven't get 300,000. We depleted the building account. We took away the funding for building improvements next year, so, I mean, I'm not a genius, but where does 300,000 come from? That's why I don't think we can continue with this project.
But I don't know what if we stop,
But maybe we have to, maybe bring them in here for meetings, it might be helpful.
well, I'll be out for the next several weeks after
We won't.
today's meeting, but,
We'll be here.
I think what we need to do is have or you or members of the commission, the administrator want to have a conversation directly with representatives from Benchmark and explain what we have available and what they determine they can do within the context of the contract with the monies that are reserved for that purpose.
I will ask them that we normally meet every second Thursday. After tomorrow's meeting, the next one was supposed to be New Year's Day, so I won't, I hope to be back by the following week, if I wake up. So I will discuss that with them tomorrow, and I'll try to get when they're
Are you
available.
potentially here on the 23rd or you're out?
I have surgery on the 22nd, so I will be out. And then a follow-up appointment on January 6th. I don't think I'll be back to work until after the 6th.
Well, perhaps you, in concert with Gary, can communicate with Benchmark, advise them that we have on hand X amount of dollars that could be directed to this project over the next 60 days. And following that, we would anticipate a work stop until we identify what we might be able to do for funding.
So that project is scheduled to finish the first week in February. So I think the largest invoice would be at the end. That will tie everything up. The next one, I will certainly make it clear to them tomorrow that if the next invoice is of this similar size, and I'll email all four of you, and I'll throw Glenn in there as well, and Brenda, and I'll set something up.
I just want to give them time to determine if we're going to have a stop work after the next month, that they, out of courtesy to them, say, we have the means to get to this point in the project at this point, until we have secured financing and identified what we can do. In fairness to you, we can't offer you continued work beyond X amount.
And again, I don't know what their contract language is, but we may owe them a substantial portion of the entire price, whether they because if that escrow account is empty, we can't not finish the building. I agree with you, Dan, I don't know how we pay for it.
Contract as well.
What was that, Dan?
Maybe Redmond needs to look at the contract to see what our options are.
Is the commission comfortable proceeding under that premise?
So I think, yeah, we can finish with what we have for ARPA money, but beyond that,
I just want to be fair to them. They've been forthright in dealing with us, so I don't want to just drop the hammer today if we have the means to give them another month to do some work here.
And it looks like we do, as long as we don't extend that cost.
Well, we need, as Danny said, to have advice as to what our obligations are in the terms of the contract if we have to, in 60 days, suspend any further work.
all right.
So that gives you some time, talk with them, to allow them to talk to their hires up and determine where we are in that project.
So that's that work. What about the work here in this building with the HVAC system?
Is that supposed to be the same pool of money, or is there ARPA money?
That was completely covered by ARPA. But that was, so in that account was just north of 1.8 million, I believe, and their price came in at 1.75. We do think there'll be some savings that we can, I don't think their final price will be that high. But, so that project is supposed to be completely covered by the ARPA funds. But if it's.
I think we wait till the second quarter because we're probably gonna need that, definitely in January, probably February too.
Yeah.
We're gonna be borrowing.
We're running around 3 to 350 per week, all told.
That's just payroll.
Okay.
AP add
800 probably,
add another
so next
3 to
week.
400,000.
Yeah.
Depends, I mean, I'm holding back on some AP right now.
So it's about 3 a month right now, 3 million.
Yeah,
2.5, yeah.
So with this project, I believe most of the new equipment has been installed. The new controls are not installed. So we are struggling right now to, when it's single digits out, I can't promise that the people have the heat that they wish to have. And then if we suspend till the second quarter, then we're gonna go through a summer with no air conditioning.
I like to think they said, oh, that's April, the second quarter, then.
Well, if we suspend until April, they're gonna finish, if they continued as is right now, they would finish in March. So if we suspend, they won't, and they start again in April, they won't finish until probably August.
Maybe they get started in March, but I don't think they started sooner than that.
I think Brenda needs to determine what her cash flow needs are for the
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to.
No, you're laying it out here, and
Yeah, and I would like to go back and kind of revamp everything and just make sure I've got my,
we've got some
Right.
components that are not available here. I mean, treasurer needs to speak to what his progress has been in discussions on a TAN and when and how much that could be. He will be back with us, I believe, on the 21st, at which point we should be prepared for some of these discussions. The most important thing, obviously, is prioritizing cash flow to make sure we meet our payroll and other obligations here. Any place that we can negotiate with some of these vendors on delayed payments and or reduced payments to marginalize the impact on the AP side is going to be important until we get surety on the TAN.
so let Brian and I spend some time on the finer details of this, and I'll take another look at what's in the ARPA account, and we'll be in, I think, a better shape to have a better recommendation.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission?
Well, we're gonna pursue the inquiry with our legal counsel on our options.
I think we should just find out what.
I think when Brenda has provided Gary at least with some preliminary information,
We'll review that at that time.
he can determine if we need that contract reviewed by, but Brian will also be having an upfront conversation with them tomorrow, and he'll be able to provide Brian some guidance as to what their position is.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I assume one or both of you have that contract.
Yes,
Can you get me a copy, please?
yes,
Electronic's fine.
yes.
Anything else, or is that enough for Monday?
So on Franklin Street again, that HVAC work is being paid for by an energy grant. And the last I haven't seen any contact from Wendy. She reached out to 2 people at the Department of Energy, I think. And both of their emails came back as undeliverable. The people are gone. So the grant was in the $80,000 to $85,000 range. The cost to do the HVAC, finish the HVAC work in Franco Street is about 110. So we're gonna be 15 short on that, 15 to 25 short on that as well.
It sounds like we're 110 short.
Well,
We don't get the grant.
so her email to these people said, okay, we're ready to use our voucher. And I don't know that she has found,
So when did the inquiry go to the department, federal department? Because if it's during shutdown, there's not gonna be anybody to respond anyway.
just a week or so ago.
Okay, so they should be up and running.
The next meeting, we have a lot of questions for Wendy.
Yeah, I think
I've
that,
already put that down.
Okay.
so we have questions regarding a year-end report on the progress for those who still have outstanding funds. And we have need for more clarity on, we are indeed in possession of the voucher that verifies that the grant,
What's granted?
the energy grant.
Well, and that, I haven't spoken to Wendy about it. I emailed her asking what I needed for, it's being paid by Davis-Bacon because it's a federal grant. So you need certain paperwork for the accounting of that. So I asked her what the requirements were. She said she'd find out, and her email was, okay, we're ready to ask for our money now. So I'm hoping it's still there. The way my luck's been running though,
I think what we need to do is identify what the terms of the grant were, and if necessary, contact one of our federal partners, Congress, to see if they can clear that up if we don't have a
And
contract.
this is a feds DOE, this is
Yeah.
not state, this isn't through Efficiency Maine or anything here.
by the look of the email addresses, it looked like it was federal. And well, yeah, that's why we're using Davis-Bacon.
Okay.
All right, until we have further information, I don't think there's any action we can take here.
So Wendy should be able to give me that information.
All right, if you can try and see if
When
you
did we
can
have
get
the
some
23rd?
follow-up before the end of the week, so
Yep.
we're not just back at the 23rd scratching our heads that way.
Is she scheduled to be back here by the 23rd?
We are going to invite her to come in on the meeting the 23rd, so.
Right. And we can answer all those.
Okay. Hi,
Okay,
we good?
yeah, thank you.
Okay. No, thank you. Doing great. We will now enter the probate branch.
Next.
Good morning, Registrar. What good news do you bring us?
Well, I'm bringing a request for a new copier. It's not, I'm not looking to get any money out of a budget or anything. This money has been set aside in a separate fund. I know the funds are there.
Okay.
There's probably, I think, about $128,000 there that only can be used for certain things. This would be one of those. Our copier, a couple things. It's about, I think, 5 years old. We're having some problems with being able to print envelopes, so instead, my staff has individual printers, but the ink for those printers adds up. It's not efficient. We're looking to make it more efficient in the office and have the capability to do those
Is that still under
things.
service contract?
It is, and they have been called numerous times. I think we've had 4 or 5 service calls in the last 6
And the result of
months.
those calls?
Fixed for a little bit, and then it's gone right back to the same problem.
Are we aware, and this may be a unfair question for the administrator, but do we lease any of our other copiers in the building, or are they all owned?
They're all owned, yes.
They are all.
This is the only one with these?
No, this is
No,
all are
owned.
And this was actually hand
Okay.
me
We own
down
this, but
to
we
this
purchased
department.
We purchased a lease, a service contract.
Yes, correct. All of them are under a maintenance plan.
With today's technology, it does not last for 20 years like it might have before.
Yeah, well, what is the value of a service contract if it doesn't
Well,
meet the service needs?
I got a question for
Yeah.
Brenda again. I understand these funds that are dedicated to this certain expenditures within this department, but that doesn't mean they're in a separate, these are probably still in the general fund department cash flow.
Actually, no, these actually are in their
They
own.
keep their account in
They
their own.
actually do have
there
an
are
account.
some reserve accounts where the money resides.
Okay,
I get the statement every
It's a
month.
real account.
okay.
I monitor what comes in and out of this account.
What's the cost of the new copier? 160?
About 86, 23, 45,
And what is it?
or 96, sorry.
And it's in the reserve account is 180, was it, or?
I have about 128,000, it's, yeah. The last statement I received, but at that point also within that fund, we were taking out for a part-time employee, and currently we do not have that part-time employee now, and we haven't had them for.
So that would leave about
Okay,
40,000 left.
About 3 weeks, so then that's additional money that's not being taken out of that account currently either.
Does this come from,
That would leave 40,000 left in the account after the purchase.
No, there's 128,000, this is 9,623, sorry, 45.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, that's.
No, that's
a heck of a copier, isn't it?
pretty nice.
That's,
We recently bought a copy.
that makes me feel a lot better.
I don't have an issue with buying a copy, it's just a process. We bought one a couple months ago, and I can't remember, do we have one company that buys copies from? It doesn't sound like we got.
Visual Pet, this is the company that we contract
Technically,
with.
3 companies that we have various copiers through. We are trying to get everything in with Visual Edge so that things are just smoother and easier to
Are they
track.
bid on that? We can ask companies to bid on these, or how we?
We have not, when I did the replacement DNA, they were the cheapest of 2 companies that gave us a quote, but we have not done a formal process.
And I'm going back to these service contracts. Are they with the same company, the service contract, the various things, are they different
The service contracts are also different, so if the machine was purchased through Budget Technologies, they do the service contract, Visual Edge does their machines and so on. It's very convoluted to track who has what machine.
Well, it fits right in with the county government, so I can understand that.
And certainly, it would behoove us, as we come into the next year, to do perhaps an RFP for the next cycle of machines that need replacement, and I think we might even say if we do some leasing versus purchase,
Yeah.
just my opinion. That's certainly something that we're open to looking into in the future. I know Hillary just has some inefficiencies with the
Yeah,
current
we
machine.
want to see the cost impact of those options was.
Not to need any more work on you, especially where you have some vacancies, but have you considered the option of going to window envelopes for mailing so that you are just printing the statements and folding them accordingly?
It's not so much statements, we're sending judges' orders out, we're sending confidential information that I would not put in a windowed envelope.
Understood. Okay. I think based upon the context of future plans to do RFPs, are we comfortable approving what is both budgeted and available for her to?
I support approving the registrar's request.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just that before we go do this again, we get a bid together for copy of service account.
I'll add it to the to-do list for spring.
I don't think it's an HR project either.
I understand, but I think as we're moving to identify who's
Right,
going to
exactly, yeah.
be the captain.
Yeah,
Sure,
we don't need to do it.
communicate
Next
more
one,
together.
so,
No, but I think it's a healthy thing for the budget committee, advisory committee to look at as well, on policies related to purchase versus lease, because we're finding in some departments that is a more effective process that replaces things in a planned manner. But based upon the diligence you've done and the fact you have the money, I think we are ready to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Thank you for your work on that.
Thank you very much.
Policy, rehire, reemployment.
HR Dyer up here too, Director Dyer. So this was, I went to HR a couple months ago, just questioning policies, procedures, looking in regards to, does the county have a rehire policy? And if they did, what is it? If they didn't, why do we not possibly have one? Not that I'm trying to get into HR or anything. I brought it to the attention because I've had some employees that would be questionable for rehires. And most companies have some type of rehire policy. So I just wanted to try to get something implemented. So with that being said, Tony went ahead and drafted a policy, and then we just together brought it to you.
I don't know if it's in your book, if we got it, okay.
Yep.
I brought extras in case.
I'd like to
Have a chance to
look at it another day.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really my intent, and I think just from an HR perspective, I appreciate Hillary. She's often finding some gaps in our coverages, which is great. You know, it's a more HR department, so we went real basic 6 years ago, and aside from her concerns, I think just generally, one of the issues that I've been noticing just on the HR end is someone leaves employment, whether on good terms or not, their next employer calls us to verify employment, and they always ask, would you rehire this person back? And I can't answer them. We've always said, we don't answer that question. And I don't mind saying that for some positions, but when we're transferring a corrections officer or dispatcher or a police officer, that community has a right to know if they're someone they want to take on. So for our purposes, I think this is a good idea, and perhaps it needs tweaking, and certainly that's why we wanted to draft something that you all can digest and think about.
Based on that, this would be a universal policy, I assume?
Correct.
Have we run this by some of the other key departments that might be affected by this?
I have not. I wanted to make sure that you guys at least had an appetite to consider it before I got a lot of other people concerned.
Is this boilerplate, or did it originate with
It's
you?
incredibly boiler, and I created it.
And you've edited it according to what you think would, for the county needs, and now we need to run it by the other department heads to see if that creates a uniform policy that would suit.
Yeah, if you're willing, I will take it to the next department head meeting and have the same discussion with them for comments. It would certainly help on the verification end of things, just because we don't have clarity there.
Is the commission wanting a chance to review this, have a discussion with the 23rd, and then refer it to the other department head?
I do my hand refer, and I'd just like to bring it back on our agenda in the first meeting in January. I think we have a lot going on.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a pressing matter. I think you can certainly take a few weeks or
I think it's
longer.
appropriate to
I haven't read
share
this
this
yet.
with the other departments,
Yeah.
but you're comfortable with her doing that before we?
Yeah, I'd go ahead and do it, and, with the idea that we probably will wait till January till we have time to really, once you've all reviewed it, to implement it. I haven't read it myself. I mean, not that.
I think this is a significant effect in various departments, so putting that out, do you have a listserv of other HR that you have the ability to communicate with?
I do, and so I can also send this out and make sure that it's, not a lot of government entities have a rehire. It's a lot of private companies that have these types of policies, so I may not get a lot of feedback, but I can certainly do
Your
that.
recommendation that we have one established here
Something.
for these reasons you've articulated.
Yeah, I think just the timing to do it as best we can is appropriate. So thank you.
You got the go-ahead. I mean, we all,
Yeah.
I would support it. And once you fine tune it and run it by other people.
Yeah, what format? So we'll give you the green light to send it out to our our department heads and others that would be appropriate for you to get feedback.
Okay, perfect.
Good. Anything further?
No, that's it.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Registrar. Thank you, Tony.
At this point, we are at item F, which would be commissioners' discussion. We did have the opportunity for Attorney Keys to come in and brief us regarding his review of the video and minutes from the Budget Committee. We did not ask him to come back today, but the takeaway that I have is that any changes that the commissioners determined were necessary to try and honor the spirit of the Budget Committee request will require unanimous approval. Is that the same message that each of you took away yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, and just a question, so I don't think we need to end right away, but we talked about a few adjustments yesterday, and then our next meeting is Tuesday, which is a public hearing of the budget. And we had a recommendation or a suggestion from the sheriff on something additional, we didn't take any action on. When, are we gonna do any budget discussion today, or the next budget discussion gonna happen?
I would like to take some of these things up again today.
Yeah.
We've had at least a day to digest.
So I just didn't
some
see
of
any
these.
spot on the agenda.
Yeah, I thought that,
Maybe
no, you're correct. On this one, we did not have it, but we can certainly insert that. You want to first take care of some of the other.
oh yeah, we can do it
And then,
before the executive.
yep, I think that would be appropriate. You okay with that?
Yes,
I
I
can say those about 20.
Okay. So at this point, we would then move on to item G, the administrator. You have some items, Gary, that you'd like to bring before us?
We have a recognition from Brittany Russell that you folks have signed about the 2025 county food drive.
It was a very successful drive. I don't know if anyone in the room was involved with that, but it was a broad participation by a lot of our employees to help those who are struggling this season, and we are grateful for the work that Brittany did in organizing this. We would like to recognize her with a certificate. I think that she's not able to be with us today. Maybe if you want to ask if she is available for the 23rd, we could have the commission recognize her publicly for that work, and she could share a little bit of the success of that drive.
Okay, 23rd.
I would say the sheriff said that if you'd got out, he didn't make it up the third floor, but he said he walked in the third floor, it was amazing, it was just pretty much packed with donations, so very impressive. And
Yeah.
I wish you, maybe you got some pictures of it. Hopefully you did.
It certainly is a recognition of the giving spirit that a lot of our employees and others had here. So thank you to all who made this possible and for what it means in this holiday season for many families and individuals. 3 tax abatement discussions.
There's 3 now and a 4th coming in. You have those, are they in their notebooks? Okay, they'll be prepared to come to you soon, just for an FYI. And what we thought, correct me if this is your history, that we would get some dates from the Maine Revenue Service folks that have to come, and then get those dates to you. And then hopefully knock 1 or 2 of these off by the end of January.
What were these all on the UT?
Yes.
Gary, what was that last part? Not?
Hopefully knock at least 1 or 2 of these 4 abatements off by the end of January. And I was thinking, Mary and I were thinking that you would tack this on after a regular meeting, the last agenda item.
Okay.
That'll be our approach, unless you want different.
How many total on there? Just the 3, or there's one other?
3 and 1 more we know coming in, so there'll be 4.
There'll be 4.
Yes.
In the event that we could probably do them in 1 or 2 days with the need to have someone here from Revenue Service, that would be helpful.
Be nice to pack in 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
These can go for an hour or 2 each.
Yeah, right. What is the
Johnny's coming.
timeframe we're looking on this? Are we under a timeline here, or?
Not that I know of. They've asked for the abatement by a date certain.
You say that that's the Revenue Service has requested a decision by a date certain?
No.
No. These are standing until settled.
All right.
Would you just, Gary, make sure that none of these are of a property, commercial property? They're all residential. Because there was some discussion at the last county commissioners meeting with someone from Revenue Service about changes they're making this year to reduce the level at which counties or municipalities have these hearings and transferring some of those of a higher value to the state board for review.
Over $1 million.
Currently is $1 million, that's correct. But there have been instances where some commercial properties have come up under that level and the state is recommending a
They're all in my
lower
district.
threshold so that they can take those up appropriately because commissioners did not feel prepared to deal with some of those issues. It's unfortunate. That's out of the time. Moving on, risk pool and board. As the administrator for the MCCA noted earlier this month, we have a requirement under the bylaws to elect our representatives to the MCCA risk pool and board of directors. At this point, I'd like to open discussion on who would like to serve in the risk pool for next year, and then I have agreed to take on the role again of the MCCA president, so would ask your consideration to reappoint me to that role, so I am eligible to serve again in 26 as you have to be a member of the MCCA board in order to be a member of the executive board.
Well, right now, we have, you're the delegate, and Dan, you're the alternate on the commission, and I serve as on the risk pool.
And Dan is, I believe, your alternate.
Yeah, I enjoy the risk pool, and unless there's any change with you, Dan, any interest there, you,
No, I'm fine with this.
I like the way, so we need to just reaffirm what we've got now and make whatever motion is necessary to accommodate that.
So then we would entertain a motion regarding our continuation of the current representatives to the risk pool and the board of directors.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous. I thank you for your confidence, and I know David also will represent us well, and I appreciate your being willing to serve when we are not available again. And those, of course, are mostly by Zoom. There are 5 meetings that will be in person for 2026. That would include the annual meeting in January. We're in discussions right now with Waldo County about possibly hosting that. It will be the latter part of January to accommodate future years when people are elected and have not been sworn in during the early time that we normally had. May and July are the other 2 in-person meetings during the summer. Then you have convention, and we are adding a December meeting, which was successful. This month, we went down to 2 bridges, and so there are opportunities to kind of rotate around and visit other counties. I have been notified that Brittany has joined us. We did want to recognize you for the work that you did on this food drive. If you and Brad would like to come forward and share a few details regarding what went on this year.
This is your right, not mine.
Oh, right here.
They're not the most comfortable seats.
That's all right.
I can't get further away from you than I can. My cough is asthmatic, his cough, not asthmatic.
So Brittany, Brad, thank you for the work you did. Please share with us a little bit about what occurred this year.
With the SNAP benefits being suspended in November, especially with the holiday season, I took it upon myself to organize a food drive, and I partnered with the sheriff's department and the county as a whole to try and pull together as many resources as we could. And we were able to collect several hundred pounds of food to donate throughout the county to different shelters.
Where was the source of your contacts? Was that through an agency, or is this something you took on with internal knowledge of people's needs?
I reached out to a couple different shelters in the area. I kind of tried to spread it a bit apart so we could hit as many places as we could. A lot of our food pantries, they provide food for not only resources and people in our county, but surrounding counties as well. So I tried to hit as many of those as we could.
Brad, do you have any comments?
I mean, this is not a first for Brittany to take on a project like this. She always puts others above herself. I know of instances in the past where we've taken tragic 911 calls and Brittany has taken it upon herself to, especially around this time of year, to make sure that children and other families affected by tragic incidents still had a Christmas, and things like that. So, I mean, I commend her for the work that she did on this, and again, this is way above and beyond what we ask her to do every day, and I expect the same type of behavior from her in the future. So, I mean, we're very proud of what she's done here in the past with things like this. So,
Well, we're grateful both for the work you've done and that you're part of our team, so thank you
Thank
for
you.
all you do here. We would like to, as a small gesture, a small token, give you a certificate of appreciation if you'd be willing to. I'll have the other two gentlemen, so I don't cough on you, present that, and we'll take a photo. In the future newsletter, we'll probably see a recognition of that.
I'm doing it this year.
I'm also sick.
Everybody's sick.
Hold on.
Why don't we do it against the wall over there?
Yes,
What's the road between the thorns here?
All right.
No, you right there, my friend.
I don't trust you behind me, but you too close.
I know that, guys.
There you go. I know, right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brittany.
You're welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Brad.
I know. Have a great day.
I took a couple. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
We used to call those points of light in the previous administration.
Other items that you might have for us? We have started the interview process. That's going well. While we don't want to shove you out, we are looking forward to having.
Shove away.
Have an opportunity. I will share with you, as a number of department heads have expressed appreciation for the manner in which you stepped in here, been available to help them with issues that we need guidance on, so we want to express our appreciation for that.
Happy to do it. And I think we can release that we had over 30 applications. We whittled it down and had some good interviews yesterday and one or two more this afternoon. Two.
Yeah. So we appreciate the interest. Obviously, it speaks well, particularly during a challenging time, to have good people stepping up and expressing an interest in
Yes.
taking this role on.
My thanks go out to staff here for helping me in this transition.
Yeah.
It is like drinking from a hot fire hose.
Yeah, but not boring.
You were correct.
Lois, just a quick question on administrative. You sent us the email about some FOIA requests, so do we, if we have emails or text, we funnel to you and then you respond?
Yes, Tony and I will work together, so this is continuity after somebody else is in my seat.
Right.
So,
And I know I might have responded since, you might not have seen it. Just a question, I know on one of those requests, there might have been some questions on redacting account numbers or something. Would there be anything else that would take time on that request to?
I don't think so.
redact,
I
just
mean, if it's a
account numbers?
traditional credit card statement, there wouldn't be any
That's what I
sensitive
would think, just
information.
account numbers,
I think we certainly have asked legal counsel to review this, to give us
Yes.
some advice too, so that we're appropriately responding, but making sure we're not sharing information that would be in a public domain and that should not be.
Yes, that's why there was a delay in you folks receiving it, because I reached out to John Hamer and just tried to talk to him.
So we'll address that as properly as we can.
Yes.
If there are some expenses, we'll need to provide an estimate to the entity that is requested.
Yes, I think that the chance for substantial cost there would be on only one of those.
Thank you. At this point, we are ready for approval of warrants. Item H, may I have a motion?
Move we approve the warrants under section H of the December 17th agenda.
Second?
Have a motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. At this point, we did indicate we wanted to have some further discussion related to the 26 budget. Are we ready to take that up now?
we ready?
Brenda, in the event that we had any curiosity, would you be willing to come forward?
Sure.
Okay. I see you have your handy computer with you.
I got it. Everything I do.
So, I left my notes from yesterday out in the car, some of you gentlemen may have it, but just to kind of recap, we identified on this summary sheet that I believe each of you has
Yeah, I've got-
before you.
This isn't correct again.
This is, yeah, this is just an updated version. The last one was 1211, this one is 1216.
We didn't decide anything on Department 34, we didn't decide anything on Department 36.
What are you saying, Dan?
There's a number of these departments that are in here we didn't decide on yesterday.
So what I had done is just pretty much left it the way we had, the meeting
And we didn't decide on the
last
voting.
week, and then updated for the discussion with the sheriff and,
Right. So these are the numbers prior to our discussion yesterday. So this is just, we had
No,
some,
these aren't even the numbers prior to the discussion. We didn't have voting in there when I did this.
it's pretty much, comprehensive of everything that's on the table that I'm aware of,
But we didn't
so.
start working through it, that was just.
okay, let's take the county portion of the budget, which I believe is the first page, and talk through these again. As I recollected from yesterday, there was general agreement to support the reduction in Department 32.
Right.
Okay, so I'll circle that again. There was some disagreement on the program donations.
Right.
So let's set that aside and identify within the EMA budget, including the Orono hazmat in the event it was removed from 34, added 27,000. And there were some adjustments that EMA department head was able to offer us, so that the net change in that would be 16,000.
Right.
If we were to look at PRCC, the next item, Department 4, he had been able to identify $40,000 between some training allocation, overtime, which he said is now being absorbed many times in regular budget with the vacancies, and then some computer equipment to give us $40,000.
Yeah,
The natural gas savings was based upon a discussion I had with Mr. McDonald, where he indicated when they developed the initial budget, it was in June, and they doubled the first 6 months of the year. His actual data gave him comfort in identifying the new system will have slightly greater savings, so he was able to book 32,500 reduction on his natural
okay, so
gas.
it's 32, 26,
And then Commissioners Department 6, we looked at moving out 1,000 for the HSAs into the next year. In the next series, which is the header comes over from page 1, which is Sheriff's Department, he had identified a clerical position that they can freeze. He had identified 15,000 for the officer buyout reserve because of some of the contract communities who have stepped up. There was a part-time position reserve that he has been able to reduce that equaled $97,700 out of the sheriff's patrol side of the budget. IT had identified $40,000 in adjustments from their capital reserves related to servers. It does not eliminate the need for that, but it shortens the time frame. And then the next items were 2 more donation related. One would have been Penquist Department 36 and Eastern Maine Development Corporation's Department 30. That's a total of 25 and 63 for 88,000. We did not come to a a final decision on those either. So I see 1, 2, 3 areas that are primarily related to the question of donations that we need to attempt to sort out today. So let's start with Department 34. Commissioner Tremble, you had some suggestions.
Well, yeah, these have been long, I know there's different opinions on what the county should be doing, but these are long-standing contributions to the county. I think mostly county-wide impact, except the two that might not have a county-wide impact that I can see would be Pine Tree Hospice and Arundel. The other ones, we already talked about moving the hazmat team to EMA. That leaves a few others, which I think we have discretion and go how we put a committee together, but at the end of the day, I think we can decide how to spend the opiate fund. I think Together Place, the barn, and the shelter would qualify for opiate fund. That just leaves the interlibrary fund and the rate response to ones that are left. And I think those are very worthy. The bills is widely used, but it's not a donation. I mean, it's a contribution. Some that benefits the whole county. There's towns all over the county that use this. I think every library in the county uses this system. So it's a small amount, and I would move that we put that at 21.5, and keep rate response at 3,500 for a total of 25. So it still reduces this department instead of 111,000, so it was 86.5.
Commissioner Marshall,
What do you want?
I'm asking your position on Department 34.
I'm just trying to
Well,
compromise.
you've mentioned a donation versus a contribution, and I don't see I find that I don't see the tiptoeing difference. What this and these are all, and I've said this before, these are all organizations that provide services at various levels to the community. They're all 501c3s, or all not-for-profits, and as such, they do fundraising on their own. I heard it suggested by one of the advocates for this, that this prevented them from having to go to the communities to ask for donations by coming to the county. I don't know if that is a valid argument, in my opinion. I look at this as these donations are simple, and these were the recommendations of the Budget Committee. Their consensus was these monies.
This was not a recommendation. They removed this when they filed.
What's that?
The last motion of the Budget Committee removed this recommendation. This is not a recommendation of the Budget Committee.
No, but this was initially when it came.
Right, but then they
came in,
removed it.
and that brought it front and center. And my contention is that all these donations, as worthy as they are diversion of taxpayers' dollars from the operation of county government to organizations and groups in the term of contribution. My thought is, as a commissioner, it's not my job to collect tax money from the public and then turn around and make it a donation to an organization. I think primarily our job is to fund the operation of county government. And we know right now that we're in some sort of a straits right now because of the jail situation. And my position, I would not support. As I said, 3 of these, the Orono Hazmat should have been moved over because that is a safety measure, in my opinion. The Bangor Shelter and the Bangor Area Recovery Network, those should be shifted over to opioid monies, and I think we've all agreed that that is the more appropriate approach. So from my position, I'm not going to support diverting public tax dollars to a private or to 501c3s as a matter of us donating on behalf of the public. public wants to donate to these organizations, they are free to do so. It's not incumbent on the commissioners to donate in their behalf.
So we have a requirement, according to what Mr. Pease advised us yesterday, that the budget is in our hands as the commission, and we must find unanimous approval for anything that we bring forward. And my interpretation of that was not only on the final product after the public hearing, but also if we are going to make adjustments that are not in alignment with what the budget committee recommendations were, that it's going to have.
That's why I offered this in spirit compromise,
And I
get it from 111 to 86.5, $25,000. And that, not that we would eliminate those others, but we would find alternate funding for those others as well.
Yeah.
The only two that would be eliminated would be Pine Tree, and my proposal would be Pine Tree Hospice and eliminated.
Is what, again, Dan?
1522 and 1525
So
would be eliminated.
we would eliminate those from the budget, but in fact, we would eliminate the shelter, the recovery network, and Together Place with the understanding that.
That we would fund them.
Right.
Yeah, but for today's budget, you would be comfortable eliminating all but 25,000 from Department 34.
Exactly.
Okay. Could I suggest we approach it in this manner? Our objective is to try and find the $1 million requested by the budget committee. So if we vote on these by departments and identify where we are, we may need to be subject to revisiting some of these departments to get closer to that $1 million figure. So is that a process that you gentlemen would be comfortable with?
I would be comfortable with it.
You would or would not?
Would.
You would, okay. So in that case, if I'm understanding properly, we took the 111,500
Right.
and we reduced that to 25,000 in Department 34 for purposes of discussion to reaching that $1 million threshold,
So it takes out 86.5.
86.5. Okay. Can I have a motion regarding Department 30? Well, let's take it in
Let's
order.
wait to
First,
see that.
Department 32. Can I have a motion to zero out the 120,000 from line 71001 and 750500?
So
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So Department 34 is now zeroed out. Department, I'm sorry, 32, excuse me, 32. 34, we have agreed to reduce that to 86,500. So Department 34 would now stand at $25,000.
it could be revisited.
Let me see here now.
Which ones are you keeping?
We are keeping 3,500 for 471512 rape response.
A rape response, yeah.
And 471518, $21,500.
Okay.
So we are looking for a motion for Department 34 to be reduced to those two line items totaling $25,000.
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'm looking at the thing here, I'm trying, okay, we've removed Orono Hazmat, Anger Recovery, Rape Center,
Pine Tree Hospice?
Pine Tree Hospice.
Yes. Arundel. All that is remaining in Department 34 in this motion would be 3,500 for rape response and 21,500 for the Bangor Interlibrary Loan System.
I will second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Moving on to EMA Department 3, we had reductions presented of approximately 11,000, and we are looking to move the Orono Hazmat request of 25,000 to that line item. I would offer one suggestion. We reduce Orono Hazmat to 25, that picks up another 2,000 in that line. We can revisit this if you want to, if we've got to bring something up, but if we're looking for small chunks to make up what we need to find.
George isn't here, but I don't, the way this looks, it looks like it's all falls in, I think that is split too, that donation between the UT and.
There may possibly be something in addition from the
So, I'm okay with that,
UT.
so that.
Okay, so if we move that down to 25, that would then net us a savings of 18,000. So,
No, to be a
I'm
cost
sorry,
of
I'm
14.
sorry. Thank you, yes, thank you. Now, an increase of 14,000 to Department 3.
Right.
I would entertain a motion that Department 3 with the reductions and adjustment for Orno Hazmat is now a $14,000 increase. Motion?
I would move what you just stated.
Okay, so Department 3 is now a net increase of $14,000. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we're all set. Department 4, which is now PRCC's adjustments, there is a total of $40,000 reduction for Department 4. Entertain a motion on that.
I move we accept make the reduction of aggregate 40,000.
Second?
So this PRCC, we don't have the total number, but the reduction approved of 40,000 in PRCC. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Department 8.
Chairman, before we go much further, I just have a question. Is we went through the budget committee process and they made adjustments within the department. We said to them, once you've made one, you can't go back, you can't take a second bite now. What's our process? Because there's some things in that, I think I'd like to propose some blanket adjustments across the board or policy changes. So I don't know how we would move forward with those things.
So we have not voted on the full budget.
Mhm.
The objective here was to go through departments. We have the ability to reconsider one time any action we take.
Because I've got some ideas that would, they're just policy changes, but they would affect each department a little bit,
Okay.
so.
So we have not voted on the final
Right.
budget either. And my thought would be, we would be voting on the budget to propose a public hearing, and then based upon that, we have that day, and technically,
Right,
we're
that's a
meeting on the
public hearing,
31st, so that we could reflect on any recommendations that came in during that process. So, just so everyone is comfortable, we're not finalizing this budget, but we have agreed to have votes on each department that is presenting changes for us here to determine what the aggregate is. And then,
These are just votes on the departmental changes from the last proposal.
that is correct.
Okay, that's understood.
So we are now, I believe, still at Department
Department
8. I think we voted on Department 4, the 40,000. We're now voting on Department 8, which is a savings on our natural gas line 520500 of $32,500.
I would move we accept the reduction in the Department 8 account,
Second.
32.5.
Motion second, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Commissioners, Department 6, we identified $7,000 there that could be deferred from the HSA.
I appreciate, I'm in favor of this, I just had a question, because it was 5, and then when I looked at the budget, we had 5 this year, then it went to 12, like, why didn't you go to, you know why it went to 12 instead of 10? Because we were gonna take it down by 5, but in the budget, it was 12 and not 10.
Yeah, I don't know, that's why I had it
It was
with
just a
7,
mistake.
so that it came
Yeah.
down to 5.
Okay, yeah, because
I
originally
don't-
this was at 5, and
Yeah,
I looked in the budget at 12, so.
So it'll be
Is
at
it
5,
based
right?
upon the individuals who are, I know that the treasurer indicated he wanted to follow what the commissioners had done.
Oh, okay.
And I think the administrator is included in there.
Or was he in Department 6?
He would be in, well, that's a good question, Brenda. Is
But in
the
the Department, he
treasurer?
would, in the Department 6 budget, it had 12,000 for next year on the HSA. So maybe it was just,
Do you remember how we got to the 7 figure?
and 5 is the same as it was in 2025.
so Department 6 includes the county administrator, the county officers, and the assistant, which is Meredith.
That would be 6 then.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 7 here.
So, yeah, so right now, what's included, still included, is $5,000.
Okay, the paper in front of us shows the number 7.
That's the reduction. We had 12, I took out 7, so now we're at 5.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
I guess I'm not sure where the 7 is that we took out, where
It
that came
was,
from.
12 was budgeted for next year.
I see, okay.
Yeah, that was your, that's what was in
Yeah.
here in the document that was handed out in November, was 12.
Sorry, so we've reduced it by 7 because the number that was in there was maybe higher than what was anticipated.
Yeah, that's what yesterday, after our meeting, I went through and checked every department, what I had
Okay.
to the document. And to make that come back to the 5, I had to reduce it by 7.
Okay,
Make sense?
as long as we're not leaving somebody out. And you've given us the individuals who would be covered in that plan.
Yes.
So there may actually be some families that's not just individual coverages. That's probably where we're at, okay. So 7 is reducing Department 6. So we're actually voting on 5,000 in line item 472420. Is that accurate, Brenda?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Move we adjust Department 6 on the HSA contribution by $7,000.
It should be at 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a second to that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Next would be Sheriff Department 12. He has identified 3 areas in which he could offer adjustment totaling $97,700. One is clerical 310020 for $57,700. Line 740090, officer buyout for $15,000, and 340001, part-time reduction totaling $97,700. May I have a motion to accept the reduction of $97,700 from Department 12?
So move.
Second.
On a motion to second, further discussion, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
At this point, that's an aye on my part too, unanimous on that vote. IT department has identified a reduction in their reserve accounts of $40,000 related to capital equipment line 73-7500. That's again in Department 15. May I have a motion to accept that $40,000 reduction?
I move we accept the reduction of $40,000 to Department 15.
Second.
Motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous of those present. Now we get to Department 36, which is listed as another donation contribution to Penquist, which provides various services for multiple counties in the area. The current historic budget line from past year is $25,000. What is the discussion or motion at this point regarding Department 36?
Is it 26, Mr. Chairman?
It's
I have
25,
25 showing here.
25 and 63.
It's
Department 26?
36. Yeah, it was wrong on,
Oh, it's Department 26?
no, it was 36.
Oh, it is 36.
Yeah.
Yeah, Department 36. Did I apologize if I
That's
said
what this
26?
paperwork says.
It was listed as
20.
Oh, well, this one does say 26, the new one says 36.
Yeah, 36 is correct.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
unfortunately, the Budget Committee never got to have a discussion about these items either in their meetings.
Mhm.
I know, as long as I can remember, the county's made these contributions. And these contributions allow both these organizations to access a lot more money. A lot of the grants and donations they get require a local match, a matching fund. This money that goes to Penquist, millions of dollars come in, at least hundreds of thousands come in additional revenue to the region. Penquist has planning for so many towns in the rural part of the county. I mean, not Penquist, EMBC does. Oh, and I want to make one thing clear before we go mature in this discussion. I am a former board member of Penquist and a former board member of Eastern Maine Development, I'm no longer on either one of those organizations. So-
Thank you for notifying.
Yeah, and they have long had county participation.
Yep.
I mean, they really were born out of, especially in DC, they used to be housed at the county. It's just, they're basically the county economic development agency in Pequot. So, while I understand the budget situation we're in, so I would be amenable to a reduction in those, around 20% or so. But I think it's very important that we show support for both those organizations.
So for Penquist, since we're dealing with Department 36, would there be a motion regarding that line item?
Would move it be reduced by, these reductions don't say, but I'm assuming 25,000, Penquist, and 63,000 from EMDC zeroes out those accounts, not reduces them.
That is my understanding.
So I
I
would-
know historically we did around 15, and then the director came to us 2 years ago and asked for an increase. They have received ARPA money. She was at the meeting the other night, and I got to speak with her briefly. She is understandable of the challenges we're facing. So I would certainly,
So do you know when it increased to 25?
2 years ago.
Okay. I would move that Penquist be reduced by 10,000 to the 25,000 level.
To the 15,000 level?
Yeah.
So it'd be 15,000?
Yes. Okay, on that line item, we have a motion to reduce Penquist to $15,000. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Department 36.
Aye.
Aye. Is unanimous.
Mhm.
So we have reduced that by $10,000 for the 26 budget to $15,000. For Department 30, Eastern Maine Development Corp. currently stands at $63,000. Is there any discussion on that line item or a motion?
In the same vein and same light, I would move that we reduce that by 13,000.
To $50,000? Is there a motion regarding, a second regarding that motion?
Now, what was the motion against?
The motion is to reduce it to $50,000.
By 13,000.
Yeah.
So that would be $13,000 saving.
Correct.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Again, reluctantly, but I understand that. And I appreciate
Appreciate that.
I appreciate the effort that they're making.
In the spirit of what we're trying to accomplish to get through this part and look at the remainder of the budget, I appreciate both of you understanding this is not easy. And again, the mission is to try to find what we can accomplish here for the budget committee hearing next week. So 23,000 in savings. So at this point, we will vote on Department 30, reducing that to $50,000. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous of those present, so we have found a $23,000 reduction. So that now puts that budget item at $50,000. And the 23 reflects 10 from Penquist and the 13 from
That's unanimous.
471502, which is the only item in MDC. That's the 50. At this point, I'm just going to do some,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. can
You've
we
got your
revisit
calculator going there?
Department,
hold on just a second, please.
Can we revisit Department 34? I
Department
have-
34, okay,
I have, we're taking out 15,000 for the Bangor shelter,
correct?
27,000 for the hazmat, we're moving
Correct.
that to a different department. 20,000 on the barn,
Correct,
1,500 on Pine Tree Hospice.
correct,
12,000 on the
correct.
window, and 10,000 on together.
That is correct.
Okay, so I have.
The bills is being reduced to 21,500 from 22,500.
What was that, Dan?
line 1518 is being reduced by 1,000.
So his request was to maintain
Oh,
rate
okay.
response at 3,500 and bills being reduced by 1,000 to 21,500. So the total for Department 34 right now would stand at 25,000.
Remaining.
Yeah, so
Remaining.
reduction of 86,000.
Correct.
Okay, sorry, what was the Bangladesh before? You said bills is gonna be 21.5.
That is correct. And then rate response is the other one, line 1512.
And that's remaining at minus 35.
That would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see this all added up.
I suspect your system is not set up to do what I need to do, which is total up the reductions here.
I got 432.7, I was just doing it as we went along.
Yep. So I'm taking 86.5 out of Department 34. I'm adding to that the 120 from Department 32. We made a minor adjustment in the EMA department where we were originally looking at 27,000. We're now looking at 25,000 for hazmat. So that 16,000 figure you see on the side will now drop to 14,000.
14,000, right? What was the aggregate for Department 34 on the right? It
The
was,
aggregate would now be 25,000, so we've reduced that number by 86,500. So if you take 111,500
yeah,
and you subtract 25,000 from that, you get 86,500, which would be the savings on that line item.
so it's 86,500 instead of the one,
Yep.
okay.
Then we move down to PRCC, we're netting a $40,000 savings there on what we voted on.
And the rest remain 32.5 at, on Department 8 buildings, 7,000 on Department 6 commissioners. 97,700 on the sheriff, and that's Department 12, the sheriff's department. 40,000 on Department 15 IT. 15,000 on the Department 36 Penquist. And Department 30 EMDC would be 23,000, I don't know, is that correct, Dan?
What's that, it'd be 23 total of.
23
10
total.
and 13, yeah.
Okay, so we're in agreement that that we need to add those up.
We do,
But the
and I
county-
believe Dan did some calculations, we can verify that.
We just scratched it
Yeah.
on my paper, I got 432.7.
It's be 400 and something. Thousand here, I guess. 490s.
Figure that out. $432,700.
Got it?
And what is it?
$432,700.
Would have been more than that. I figured that it would have been 460. Maybe I missed something.
Yeah, I think it's, you're still gonna take out the Orono hazmat out of 34.
I did. I took the savings that they booked in EMA, deducted it from 25,000. That nets out 14,000 increase in that line.
Right, in EMA, but you gotta take it out of 34 as well, don't you?
Already
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Okay.
No,
Because
you're right, he didn't.
Oh, we do, we only left 25,000.
Yeah, because the way I figured, I don't know, you're better at math than I am. We should be up around,
You took it up.
460,000, somewhere in there. What's your, what you come up?
So I'm still a little unclear on that. I got 440,000.
Okay, I know it was more than,
You have to say, you and I.
432. we show the chairman. We're a generation from new
Is it
math.
in there? Commissioner?
Use it just a little bit, Dick.
Okay, so I think it's in this department. I'm still messed up. So this is the reduction. Okay.
Yeah, so that
Do I have it backwards?
should be taken out. The Orno hazmat should be out. Because it's now moved over to Department 3.
Yeah, they have to take it out of there.
Okay, so you deducted,
Yeah, and I moved it down here
Yeah.
to Department 30.
so you have all the deductions over here.
Yeah, that's what they were. So we're taking, this is what we're taking out.
Those deductions remain, and it's only transferred down to EM, emergency management.
Right, that one there, but what
Yeah.
about this? I think we're thinking about it like opposite.
Okay.
So,
You're right.
so are we gonna donate to the rape response?
Not through Department 34.
What are we gonna donate to?
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Rape response
And
and
bills.
bills remain in the current proposal.
So I do have it exactly that. It's like-
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wanted to.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going to, bills is not being reduced by that, it should only be $1,000.
Yeah. And that's coming out.
So you've got the shelter in here, but it should be rape response that remains in that. If these are,
Okay. But that's the reduction.
that is the reduction,
Okay, I
yep,
think
we got it
I
now.
think we got it now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And then so what? So my total,
Comes in at 474, so that's off from what Danny had.
and I think it has to do with the hazmat.
Okay,
Yeah, that's.
Because you have to take it out of, you're just moving it. So you
Correct.
have to take it out of here and then adding it back.
Yeah.
But only at 25.
that is correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I feel pretty good.
I feel good. There's still a slight difference between what Commissioner Crumble and I have identified here, but I'm gonna go down through. Okay,
Those
that was all reduction.
didn't change.
The next change that's really complicated comes in when we're talking about Department 36. So that, you've got 15.
We had it at 25.
Yep, and you reduced that to 15, and we reduced that to 15.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're coming at 474, 700.
Plus that 27,000.
That doesn't do it. I mean, you've got the program that.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
We're at around 475,000 in reductions that we've identified so far.
That's fine.
And that's what you
400 I
had.
said 475,000.
Dave's on the
Even in new math, it works out.
Yeah, I knew I had this wrong.
So we're halfway to where we need to be.
Correct, at this point, before we approach the other departments
And then we've got,
and revenue.
We have the revenues. The revenues, we've been requested not to book the PILT and the probate, yep, by Budget Committee as reductions, but as additional revenue,
Right, okay.
which,
6 of one, half of the other.
so the question remains regarding the increased revenue that the Register of Deeds was able to, it better if I give you a chair rather than making you sit on the floor. Okay.
Yeah, I just got one over here.
Pull one more over, Dan, if you don't mind. Okay. This feels better. Thank you for that. So, we're at close to half a million.
What about the jail issues here?
Well, the jail budget is separate from the county budget.
This
So,
issue did affect,
This is just
what,
county budget.
it affected
the jail cap, well,
it affected the bottom line this year because of the way, because we finally put it in the budget this year, so
yeah.
it does affect the amount to be raised by taxation this year.
Mhm.
So that was what, their issue was about total expenditures, wasn't it?
Within the jail, the sheriff was able to identify some additional savings that he and his team felt they could offer us. So if we want to look at Department 9 now on the second page, it's under that green revenue line. So you're looking at
Wait a minute. On Department 9,
the second page of your,
oh, here we are, okay, now we,
there is one pretrial case manager position that they could freeze at $60,000. That would be salary and benefits. They bought 2 new vans last year, so they feel comfortable that they do not have an immediate need. But we have to recognize in future years that we're gonna have to get back on track with that. But there's 40,000. And then there is one additional corrections position unfilled that they could freeze. So that would give you 170,000. And I don't think your numbers have tallied up the boarding and the jail improvement capital. So if
And I would just tweak that a little bit. I think when the sheriff talked about it the other day, I thought his figure was 190 something. That was doing 61. Or I just soon round it up to 200,000. I think it'd be one more person a day, and it's
the boarding
the
number,
boarding number 200,000.
okay.
what are you looking at, 200,000, said 182?
Yeah, keep the other 15, that's a total of $385,000 reduction between those 5 areas.
Plus,
The other puts us on at 817, I think, 818.
So that's going to be,
I've got total 385 for the jail.
Yeah. That's right. And you got the other stuff over 800.
so,
So we're at 385
So yeah, my
for
total
jail.
wrong.
And then we
Yeah,
had the
here.
Yeah, so that's now
475.
minus 385,000.
That puts us at 860.
so what does that address us over now?
That, for my calculations, and Brenda, you may want to verify this, but if we were to then accept the Registry of Deeds revenue, it gets us to $1,010,000.
Right, but that's not, I mean, their request was just a,
You know, what is
expenditures,
In
right?
Okay, let's
fairness to them,
what's the aggregate?
they did not
Department 9.
They did not want us to book revenue,
Right,
but in their motion, they were silent on the 150 because they had already.
That's the aggregate.
right, but if you talk about
Yeah.
deeds and
That's
built
what I
and
need.
probate, that's another
Okay.
302,000.
That
Right,
makes
but there's
sense.
152,8 of
Yeah.
built
Oh,
and,
that's right, in the
We're
current.
well over.
well, no, there's built and
If you include
probate
this.
increased revenue that they specifically in the motion asked that we not use
I
for
mean, if you want to round
Okay.
up, I think he's rounding up to 10,000.
1,010,000.
Yeah, that's all, right.
And that's without the tilt of the
Right.
Yeah, with the combination of the jail reductions and the reductions that were found by the department heads, we're about 140 short of the $1 million figure in reductions. So I guess my question to you is, how do you want to proceed if our intent is to try and honor that total reduction?
From my perspective, I think quickly we've come pretty close to it. Unfortunately, we're at the 11th hour here, and we need to pass the budget, I think, next Tuesday. I think the budget committee did the easy thing, saying, you got $1 million. They just picked a number out of the air, got $1 million. That's a nice figure. I think we've made a great effort to try to get there. I think we can do more. I don't have specific numbers, but maybe between now and next Tuesday, I don't want to create a lot of work for Brenda, but I think some policy things could create some savings in the
Yeah, you
budget.
did mention you wanted to share.
One, maybe we just put a hiring freeze, and I don't think you can put a figure on this, but if we put a hiring freeze in place in light of what's going on, and that doesn't mean we're not gonna fill positions, but any position that needs to get filled needs to be approved by the commissioners. So it just shows that we're really gonna be on top of everything going on. We're gonna have a hiring freeze. We're gonna fill, obviously, if we need a guard in the jail, we're gonna fill that position. But there might be we might get a janitorial position open up. We're gonna say, yeah, we can go without that for a little while until we're in better condition. Along with that, I would think we could go through and freeze any capital expenditures. If somebody I know we had a dedicated account today, we just approved a copier. And $10,000 might not seem like a lot, but 10,000 here, 10,000 there, pretty much you're talking, pretty soon you're talking about real money. So I think we put a freeze on capital expenditures as well, and those would have to be, anything would have to be approved by the commissioners. A number of years ago, and actually this, I think, during an interview yesterday with candidates, one of the candidates brought this up, and I thought it was funny because I planned on bringing it up. I think we got too many credit cards out in the county between department heads and others. I think we need to bring them all in, and if somebody needs to buy something, they need a credit card, maybe one stays with the county administrator, and they go to the county administrator and say, listen, I need to get this for the department, and I need to buy it online. The county administrator can authorize that, but I don't think every department head, every commissioner needs a credit card. So I think that would, and maybe we ban for the next year, maybe longer, out-of-state travel. You know, a number of years ago, the commissioners didn't go, or any department, anybody in the county did not go to out-of-state conventions. It was just not a thing. We had a commissioner who went to the national county meetings, but it was paid for by the state association because he was the state rep to the national association. But I think here and there, you can save money, but it also sends a message about how serious we're taking this situation. We're all gonna feel a little pain.
Okay.
So those are the 4 areas I would propose.
Could we call the HR director up to get some input as to what the term hiring freeze means and how that
might impact you.
Right.
Because I think we recognize the rotational nature in many departments here.
Yeah.
We don't want to send the wrong message.
Right.
And you may need time to digest this, but I think at least in the discussion, we need some feedback.
Well, and just to interject, maybe we can put parameters, freeze on certain positions, and you can still come back to us on those, say, this person's left, do you guys want to fill it? But, you know, maybe we exempt corrections in some areas, so you don't have to keep coming to us, but go ahead.
The first thought is most of our positions are union, and so we have to be respectful of the fact that there's union contracts someplace. I know RCC is staffed, and so, you know, I think that's a good place to start a hiring freeze. Certainly not that I know anyone's leaving, but if they did, I think perhaps RCC is in a better place to kind of, like you said, wait 3 or 4, 5, 6 months before they fill a vacancy. I think corrections.
By my hiring freeze, I probably shouldn't have brought that, because that really doesn't impact the budget. The hiring freeze is more about a cash flow situation. The budget's not going to be impacted by hiring freeze, but it's more about the cash flow. The other ones are budgetary ones.
I think when we're talking about the sheriff's office, corrections is critically understaffed right now. I certainly would at least ask if you're going to do that, to exempt the corrections department from the hiring freeze. I know that they're in dire need to fill positions over there. Overall, right now, we don't really have a lot of positions that are vacant with the exception of corrections.
Right.
So I don't think it would put the county in a hardship to do something as a short-term process.
I think it sends a good message too, but maybe in the next, we don't need to decide today, I'm not proposing, but maybe it's something we can discuss at a future meeting, you can come back with a proposal, how we could implement something like that, or if it's not even doable or workable.
Yeah, and I mean, policy-wise, you all are the hiring authority by signing payroll change forms, but we can certainly change that and make an adjustment to present those payroll change forms well in advance of background checks and start dates and things like that, so that you can approve a specific position based on a need or if we need to hold off. I mean, that's a problem, but I'll work on something and.
I mean, if there, I don't know, not just because I said, I mean, if there's agreement
I
to
think
go
this is a
forward.
healthy discussion that's to have, especially as we move through this budget cycle and commit to what we're going to do to engage our municipal partners.
Right, I think it would send I think it sends a strong message to the community as well about how we're approaching things.
Yeah, and I would certainly rather see something like a hiring reconsideration, perhaps, maybe not freeze is the word, but as opposed to the discussion of layoffs and those types of things. So I'd much rather go this route and keep things open a little bit longer, that we can keep open to help the cash flow than reducing force.
I think it's important within the confines of this budget and what we've been able to do. We've frozen, I believe,
At least two.
additionally, 2 positions, and I believe we had 3 in communications and 1 or 2 within corrections that had previously been frozen. So the fact that we have, I don't want to convey the message to any of our county members, our team, that we're looking at any further actions that would compromise the ability to find people to fill those positions that are required. So, Commissioner Marshall, do you have any thoughts?
Well, no, I make it clear that we're making sure that our personnel, our county personnel, have the resources and personnel to do the jobs that they were asking them to do and they're expected to do under state law. So, yeah, we're gonna reaffirm that and make that clear. But what Commissioner Trumbull said, I think it sets a good message. And I'll also point out, that doesn't seem to be picked up by a lot of the media, but the county commissioners have cut their salary. Now, I don't know of any other organization in the state that has had a reduction in their salary. Not only did we not forego the cost of the COLA, we reduced our salary. Now, it's not a lot, but the symbolism is important, and the symbolism that I think the commission has taken in the budget committee, trying to address a problem, and I'm gonna go back to the jail, a problem not of our making, it's a problem of that facility. That's the source of all of our problems. That the message that we're putting forth is a very solid and a positive message going forward.
So based upon, thank you both, based upon what we have identified right now, which again is somewhere around 860,000 in reduced line items, is it your pleasure or your decision that we attempt to book that 150 as a proposal for meeting the $1 million threshold? Can I have a motion to that?
I'm sorry, would you restate that clearly?
So we have identified approximately $860,000 in cuts between the jail budget and the county budget.
Right.
We are short of that $1 million objective that was set by the budget committee. There is the question of how we address the revenue of the deeds department that she has made an adjustment to.
Right, I mean, well, speaking from my perspective, we're making the cuts, but we also have revenues coming in, additional revenues come in. It's like they don't want to pretend that those aren't coming in. Well, they are coming as part of the reality. If we're gonna approach this situation from a realistic perspective, you've got to accept the cuts, but also accept the proposed revenues. You can't just say, well, we're gonna cut here, but we're gonna pretend we're not gonna have any other revenues coming in to somehow address this situation. I think you've got to have both. You can't have, you've got to have both sides of the equation.
In fairness to members of the budget committee who worked diligently on this, I may have misunderstood what the initial direction was. I interpreted reductions as part of the process, not full cuts. So there was some consternation at the meeting when we proposed revenues. That was why I think the motion included the 127.8 in PILT and the 25 in probate to not be added into the aggregate reductions. They did in the motions reconsider the deeds budget because it had been voted on the 18th.
Yeah, that's 150,000.
And I did not do that in any manner to box them in, but the reality of the process is that is not spoken to in their motion. So we are left with the position to present something that reflects the spirit of most of their requests. And I know for not everyone's going to be happy with this because some of them wanted greater reductions than the $1 million, but and I don't want us to exhibit any frustration with it. It's an honest discussion at a very difficult time. So if we're comfortable adding the 150 to what we've, through the work of our department heads, found here, we can get close to honoring that decision. So I leave it to you. Do we want a motion on the 150 of the revenue?
Yeah, I think it's gonna go either way, whether it's part of what they expect or not, we would need to put it in the budget. I think it's a reasonable line in the budget. I don't think it's maybe we'll get to that figure or not. I think she feels very confident, Susan feels very confident that we'll get to that, so I'm comfortable with it.
She has greater numbers than she had in July or August when she put this together. And she has reached a point where she was not, I mean, we all know that we've got no crystal ball of what the real estate market's going to do next year. But she's got 30 years' experience and she feels that we've consistently exceeded her projections. So if you're comfortable, I'd entertain a motion regarding the Registry of Deeds Department 10 revenues.
To be included,
Yes,
I would make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion second to include 150,000 of additional revenues in Department 10's line item. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So if you were to include that revenue line at 150, that gets,
1,163,110.
okay. So how did we get here?
This is including the 150.
860, 150.
So 850 is
That's the 624,700, okay.
and then the jail was another 385, so that got us to 860.
Okay.
60 plus 150.
And then you add the 150. Oh, sorry, that was included.
Yeah, we can't, okay,
We're not
that
doing
explains it,
that,
yeah.
sorry.
We can't include the PILT and the probate because they specified that we'll not do that.
So they're at,
So we're at about 1,010,000, just under that. Okay,
That's what I had. I had a $1,010,000 cut. That's what we've
Well,
done.
reduction, not a cut.
Reduction. That means,
Net.
okay, net reduction.
Yes. The cuts equal approximately 860, adding the 150.
We have met the request of the budget committee.
Gary, do you have any comments or questions regarding
I
that?
just made it net.
Yeah,
So
great minds.
may I have a motion regarding the proposed 2026 budget to take to the public hearing on Tuesday of next week?
I'll make the motion, we
Well,
forward
before we go
the
there,
amended
let me ask Brenda if she is
budget.
prepared to provide us a budget figure.
Yeah, you have an aggregate amount.
Mr. Chairman, I'm comfortable moving forward with what we've got today, but I think in the next week, if Brenda could look at, and unless there's objection from the other two commissioners, eliminating any capital requests like desks or anything like that, eliminating out-of-state travel, things like that, and maybe reducing meals and things. If there's some tweaks we can make, I bet we can find another $100,000 fairly easily in the budget. But I don't want to have Brenda working 24 hours a day.
Well, I think that it's gotta be group effort. We can't expect finance at this point to go through each department.
If I just said specifically, I think travel, example, those two items.
I mean, I can take the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
So you're saying out-of-state travel and meals being anything else?
I guess you're right, you have to go through and look at capital projects, but just those two items. Maybe it's only 10,000. I think it shows effort on us.
Is that more staff work in addition to taking a vote like you're close to doing?
I suspect it would be, because it's not just one line item.
I
There
don't
are,
think there's too many items. I mean,
there
too
are
many.
several departments that would have both of those, some of which may be related to future training that needs to be
It
done.
seems like you could vote now on what you just.
Yeah, and we can add to it.
So we would like the budget for next Tuesday, the 23rd, to go to public hearings with the proposed reduction to include those items we had voted on. Are you comfortable with that motion, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay.
The recognition that we will, by the end of the year, come up with the finalized budget, but we'll go to public hearing next Tuesday to present these reduced numbers.
So you're not gonna vote now on the final thing?
We are not.
It's on the 23rd.
Okay.
No, I need to talk to Glenn on the cap number and still discussion on the fund
Yeah.
balance number.
So we just had a motion, that's gonna die for lack of a second.
It is at this point. I think the motion that is appropriate is to present for public hearing the reductions based upon cuts and additional revenues.
Good.
Is that a motion that people are comfortable with? Would somebody like to split that?
I'll make
You make the motion to present the cuts identified today.
Reductions.
Adjustments.
Cuts identified today and the increased revenue, which results in a reduction of approximately $1,100,000.
$100,000. No,
Excuse me,
$1,010,000.
$1,907,000. $1,009,700.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, as painful as it was, we've got there.
Good with me?
Bravo.
We are. We'll talk later. I understand. I think we have two, why don't we go into it and we'll ask everyone to, at this point, allow us to go into an executive session. I would entertain a motion. There are actually 3 executive sessions here. One is a personnel matter and 2 are contract matters. So with that, I would entertain that motion.
So moved, we go into executive session,
2 contract matters and 1 personnel matter.
Correct.
Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. It is unanimous. We are ending the meeting at